Okay, got it.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Laura Schutt. I'm one of the Assistant Directors of Admission at Butler University. My position's actually a bit unique as I'm not based in Indianapolis. I'm the Chicago Regional Representative and actually live up here in the northern suburbs. I specifically work with students who attend the city of, or attend high schools in the city of Chicago, as well as the north and northwest suburbs. I'm starting my 8th year working with Butler and absolutely love working with students from your high school. So I'm going to go through a few slides today, kind of covering general information about the university. We'll talk a little bit about student life, as well as end with some information about the application process. So Butler University is located in the city of Indianapolis in Indiana. We're considered a mid-sized university with just about 700 undergrads, as you can see there. And then we have about another 500 or so grad students. So our size in many ways gives you that small school feel with a lot of big school opportunities. You can see there that the average class size is 22 and our student to faculty ratio is 11:1. So you'll find your classroom experience to be very student focused, very engaging. You will know your professors, you'll get to know your classmates as well through lots of discussions and group projects. So again, that smaller school feel in the classroom, but then when you're not in class, it really has that bigger university feel. And I think that's due in part to our location being right in the city, but then we're also NCAA Division I for college athletics. So that gives you all of that excitement, school spirit that you think of with larger schools. So truly providing that big school, small school experience all wrapped up into one. We're going to take a closer look at that academic experience at Butler by reviewing our 6 different academic colleges. I'll share some quick highlights for each college, but of course I encourage you to research your specific area of interest since I just won't have time today to go into too much depth and detail on every single major. So to start with is our College of Communication. This will include majors like journalism, sports media, music industry studies, communication, and sciences and disorders, to name a few. Really exciting for our students is that we do require 1 internship within the College of Communication. So we have great partnerships throughout Indianapolis with all sorts of different major media affiliates, professional athletic teams, nonprofits, and other businesses, of course, as well. And that center photo with ESPN, that's actually a student from the Chicago area who just graduated from Butler. And so she did an internship with ESPN, had a really wonderful experience. So it's really kind of neat and exciting to see students having those internships at really well-known organizations. Our next college is College of Education. So this will include all of those teaching majors, so elementary education as well as middle and secondary education. But we do also have a newer major called our Youth and Community Development major. So that's going to be really a great fit major for students that have that interest in working with children, but maybe not in that traditional classroom setting. So different types of career paths will include youth nonprofit organizations, museums, recreation and sports programs, community centers even. For those that do want to go on to become teachers, they actually get into the actual classroom within their first few weeks of starting class during their first year at Butler. And so they'll be in the local schools doing observation hours, which really can help ensure that a student does indeed want to teach and pursue that, or maybe not, and that's okay too, because we will have students who will change their major to something that may be a better fit for them. We have great partnerships, like I said, and that includes our Butler Lab schools, which are Indianapolis public schools. They're almost staffed by Butler graduates themselves. And then we also have a partnership with Shortridge High School, which is also an Indianapolis public school just a few miles south of campus. Students will ultimately complete their student teaching during their senior year. Elementary ed students will complete an entire year of student teaching, and then our middle and secondary ed students complete 1 semester of student teaching. Our youth and community development majors, they complete their program with a capstone experience or an internship, kind of dependent on the exact field that they want to enter. And then the College of Ed has a 100% placement rate over the past 15 plus years. So really exciting to see those students land jobs or go on to grad school within 6 months of graduating. Our next college is the College of Pharmacy and the Health Sciences. I'm going to focus specifically on 3 different areas that you can apply for as a high school student. So that'll include our pharmacy program, our health science major, as well as our healthcare and business. Pharmacy is a 6-year program with auto advance. So you will start at Butler as a pre-pharmacy student. You'll spend 2 years taking those foundational courses, and then as long as you meet those academic benchmarks, complete an interview, you'll move directly on to the professional part of the program. So you're not reapplying, you're not competing with classmates for a select number of spots, and we don't have students take the PCAT exam. So you'll then continue on with the 4 years of pharmacy at the graduate level, and then ultimately graduate with your doctorate in pharmacy. So a total of 6 years, 2 years of pre-pharm, 4 years of pharm at the grad level. Next, we have health sciences. That's going to be a Bachelor of Science in the health sciences. So it's a really great major for students that want to go on to medical school, physician assistant, physical therapy, occupational therapy, any of those other health-related careers where you do need that advanced degree. Students will take coursework in the natural sciences alongside a number of courses more focused on the health sciences and healthcare. And then lastly, we have our healthcare and business major. It's a collaborative major between the College of Pharmacy and the Health Sciences, as well as the Lacey School of Business. So students that have that interest in healthcare and the health sciences, but maybe not direct patient care, this could be a really great fit major for you. You can think of careers such as hospital administration, public health and policy, medical sales even. I do want to mention that these are 3 of our most competitive areas and majors for admission. So do keep in mind that we're going to be looking at slightly higher requirements for that academic profile than what you might see otherwise. And so later on in the presentation, I will cover that academic profile. So just remember that if you're thinking or planning on these 3 majors, to be a really strong applicant, you'll want to be at that upper part of that range. Next is our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. This is our oldest and largest college on campus. We have 36 programs, and so it'll include all of the humanities, so majors such as English, history, philosophy, as well as our social sciences, so psychology, sociology. It'll be our natural sciences as well, so biology, chemistry, math, computer science, and then a number of interdisciplinary programs too, things like international studies, peace and conflict studies. We do also have a dual degree engineering program, where we partner with Purdue. So students that are doing the engineering program will take classes at Butler for their first 3 years, and then in the 4th and 5th year, they will go down to IUPUI, which is Purdue's satellite campus in Indianapolis. It's about 5 miles south of our campus, so pretty easy for our students to get down there. But it is a 5-year program, ultimately with students graduating with a degree from Butler, as well as that degree from Purdue University in the area of engineering that they're considering. I always like to mention research opportunities when talking about the liberal arts and sciences, because this is something that definitely our liberal arts and science students take advantage of, but it's really actually an opportunity that all students at Butler can pursue. And that can be working with faculty on research, as well as doing your own individual research as a student. We have 2 great programs that really help facilitate this. First is our Summer Institute, where students live on campus over the summer and work one-on-one with a faculty member doing research. And then our undergraduate research conference takes place each spring, where students are actually presenting their findings in that conference setting. So different poster sessions, oral presentations, and so forth. Just a really valuable experience, especially if you're thinking of going on to grad school. Getting that research experience under your belt as an undergrad will really be a good advantage for you. Next, we have our Jordan College of the Arts. You'll find all of our visual and performing arts programs here. So that'll include arts plus design, arts administration, dance, music, and theater. If you're interested in one of these majors, do keep in mind that there is that supplemental application process. So you'll get information on that after you apply. And that'll include an audition, portfolio review, interview, really dependent on the specific major that you're pursuing. They are all being done virtually, so keep an eye on your email for more information on that. We do have great dedicated facilities for the arts, which our students definitely utilize for performances throughout the year, but it also brings a lot of outside events to campus, things like Broadway musicals, concerts, and those are open to the entire community, so students will actually get free tickets or greatly discounted tickets to a number of those events as well. Then students that are interested in being involved in the arts but not pursuing the major, you absolutely can continue doing that. So any of our music ensembles are open to non-majors. There is an audition process though. Students interested in theater can get involved in our student-led theater productions. And then we do have dance courses for non-dance majors. Those are all leveled, so you'd be placed into that appropriate level dance class. Our last college today is the Lacey School of Business. This will include majors such as accounting, economics, marketing, finance, international business as well. They really have a big focus on hands-on learning and real business experience. It's due in part to a few courses that are required of all majors, as well as our internships. So during your first year, you'll take a course called the First Year Business Experience course. And then sophomore year, you'll be in a course called the Real Business Experience course. And part of what you're doing in both of those courses, you'll be working in a group, developing a business plan, looking at all different aspects of what's involved with creating that business. You'll oftentimes be creating a product that you're going to try to market. And then the top groups actually receive some funding that allows them to take that idea and to turn it into that real life business. So very similar in setup to the TV show Shark Tank. Additionally, students are required to complete 2 different internships for academic credit. You'll work closely with your advisor, with our Career and Professional Success Office to help you find that internship. That can be done during the academic year, over the summer. It can be even back here in your hometown if you have that personal connection. Also, some students will do internships while they study abroad. And then we have 2 off-campus programs in Washington, D.C. and New York City where students can spend the semester living in either city and doing an internship experience. That's also open to all students, not just business students. Okay, so I just shared a lot of information about all of our majors, but you may be sitting there thinking, I don't know what I want to study, and that is perfectly fine at Butler. We have a great program called Exploratory Studies. It's a really popular way to start at Butler where you're going to do just that. You're really going to explore and learn about all the different majors available. So you'll work one-on-one with an academic advisor. You can take that Exploratory Studies course, take different assessments that really help you understand your strengths and your skills and how that can be really useful to different majors, different careers. And then ultimately choosing your major and declaring that when you're ready, usually at that midway point of your sophomore year. All right, we're going to shift gears and talk a little bit about living on campus. So Butler students are required to live on campus for their first 3 years, and then senior year students can choose to live off campus if they like. During your first year, you'll be in one of 3 different housing options. That'll be Irvington House, Resco, or Ross Hall. I do have some photos to share. So here is Irvington House. This is our newest residence hall on campus. We are now housing our 3rd year of first year students in this new facility on campus. It is all suite style in its setup. So there's going to be a double room connected to a bathroom, connected to another double room. So 4 students sharing that one bathroom facility. Each of you though will have your own sink, and then you share the shower and toilet area. Here you can see the residential college. Students call it Resco for short. It's not as new as Irvington House, but it will still have that suite style setup. One unique element is that there is a dining facility within Resco where Irvington does not have that feature. And then Ross Hall, I don't have photos of Ross Hall, but it is the most traditional of our residence hall. It's also the oldest. So more of that standard double room with the community style bathrooms at the end of the hall. Here you can see Fairview House. This is also a fairly new residence hall. It opened in 2016. It's mostly sophomores. It's officially called a pod style housing, but you could really think of it as like a mini apartment. So you have all that common area space that you can see here with a kitchenette. And then going off of that are the bedrooms and the bathrooms. So you'll find that there are 6-person pods as well as 8-person pods. Now I want to touch on dining options that we have on campus. There are a variety of different food options, and we recently partnered with Bon Appetit as our dining vendor. They specialize in sustainability, work with local farmers, and really provide some healthy food options for our students. Here you can see the main dining facility on campus. It's Marketplace at Atherton. Atherton is our student union, so it's pretty centrally located on campus. You can see a variety of food stations that provide a lot of great options for students through each meal throughout the day. Additionally, we do have Plum Market, which is in the lower level of Atherton Union. That's going to be more of a grab and go type style, somewhat combining like that Whole Foods with a convenience store type feel. We do have Starbucks on campus as well. So there's also a new cafe located in our new business building. So a couple of different areas to grab that cup of coffee. And now I want to talk a little bit about life on campus. Butler is such an incredibly fun campus environment to be a college student. There's a wide variety of opportunities, of course, for students to get involved. We do have 130 different clubs and student organizations, a really active Greek life with about 35% of students participating. We're also NCAA Division I for college athletics with 20 different teams. Service is a really big part of that campus experience. You'll find a lot of different student organizations that focus on service. My favorite tradition, though, is called Bulldogs in the Streets. So at the beginning of the academic year, the entire Butler community comes together and goes out into Indianapolis and gives back through different types of service projects. Going back to athletics, though, our students get tickets to the games for free. So you're not going to be paying that student ticket price to go cheer on the basketball team, to go to the football games, soccer games, whatever it may be. And then additionally, we have a number of different club sports and intramural sports too. So if you've been active in high school as a student and want to continue that athletic involvement, but maybe not at that NCAA Division I level, joining club sports and intramural sports is definitely really popular on campus. As I mentioned at the beginning, Butler is located right in the city of Indianapolis, which really provides our students with a lot of different opportunities. Indy is the 17th largest city in the nation, so you'll find all those things that you think of with major cities: athletic events, cultural events, the arts, shopping, restaurants. It really is a fun, vibrant city. Pictured here is the downtown area, and Butler itself is just located 5 miles north of the downtown area. There are going to be a couple of different transportation options that students will use as well to go out and explore the city. But one area just northeast of campus is called Broad Ripple, and that area gives our students that college town type feel. Lots of local restaurants, cafes, boutiques, just a really fun social area to be with your friends on the weekends. And there is that free shuttle that runs from campus to Broad Ripple, so it makes it easy to get back and forth. Okay, lastly, I do want to wrap up with some information about the admissions process. I know for seniors, there can be a lot of questions. For juniors, it'll give you a good idea of what to expect a year from now. So to start with, I always like to share that academic profile. This helps give you an idea of where a typical student is academically speaking when they come to Butler. The review process is a holistic process, so certainly these numbers are important, but they're not the only thing that we will be looking at in that admissions process. But ACT score of a 24 to 30, SAT of 1150 to 1300, and then that GPA range is a 367 to 418. We will use the weighted GPA, so do keep that in mind as we will look at those courses that are honors AP level courses as well. Here, you'll find all the different items that are needed for your application to be considered complete. So we will accept the Butler application or the Common App. We have no preference either way. Typically, if you are applying to other Common App schools, it's generally just going to be easier for you to use the Common App. Both ask the same questions, so really either is fine. We do need then that writing sample or essay. If you're using the Common App, it would just be the Common App essay. No additional supplemental essays are needed there. And then we need your official transcript and school report. So make sure you touch base with your counselor just to learn how you request those documents to be submitted to Butler. Every high school has a different procedure, so I just want you to familiarize yourself with how you go about that at your school. The next items are the optional components. So Butler is now a test optional school. You can choose to apply with or without your test scores. I know that there's a lot of questions about testing right now with so many tests being canceled and everything like that. So Butler is being as flexible as possible with that. So I encourage you to reach out to me if you have any questions on that. We also are going to be updating our FAQ on our website. That'll give you a little bit more information on how we are exactly being flexible. We may be actually accepting test scores after you've already been admitted and having those be reconsidered for scholarship consideration if it doesn't arrive in time to be reviewed with your application. Looks like we have a question.
Yes, would a student that submitted test scores have a leg up on a student that did not?
They would not, no.
Okay.
So we will be considering them if they're submitted. If they are not submitted, a student is not at a disadvantage in any way in terms of admission or scholarship consideration. Okay. Test scores have always played a smaller part in our review process and in our scholarship consideration. We place a lot more weight on the GPA than we do testing. Great question. And then the last items there, resume, letters of recommendation, those are completely optional, but certainly welcomed if you do want to submit those. They will be included in that review process. Here you can keep an eye on all the different dates and deadlines. I know it's a lot to keep track of for all the colleges and universities, so hopefully this will help make it a little bit easier for you in knowing what Butler's deadlines are. We keep everything pretty much on the 1st of the month. Applications do open up August 1st, though, of your senior year. And then we have two different timelines in terms of when you want to get your application in by. November 1st is our early action deadline. I always recommend early action because of the scholarship consideration there, as well as the eligibility to apply to the honors program. With regular decision, which is that February 1st deadline, you would not have that honors program eligibility. And then there are a few additional scholarships that you would not be eligible to apply for beyond the academic scholarships. So both early action and regular decision students are automatically reviewed for the academic scholarship, but the additional scholarships, which I'll talk about in the next slide, are only for the early action applicants. For financial aid, the FAFSA opens up October 1st of your senior year. We highly recommend that students and families submit the FAFSA, and we recommend December 1st if you are applying early action. That way the financial aid office can get everything together and give you that financial aid award right around February 1st. Yes, another question.
One thing I wanted to mention is that the Illinois students, it's mandatory for graduation that they complete the FAFSA.
Yes, so, thank you for that. Great
choice.
Yeah. And then March 1st would be the absolute latest that you would want to get the FAFSA submitted. All right, so looking in a little bit more depth into our scholarships, as I mentioned, November 1st is the date to apply for best scholarship consideration. Currently, the academic scholarships range from $11,000 to $22,000. If you receive an academic scholarship, you will be notified of that in your acceptance letter. Now, there are going to be some additional scholarships that you can apply for if you apply early action, and that includes our Morton Finney Diversity Scholar Award, as well as our Center for Faith and Vocation Scholarship. For both of those, you have to have applied early action, and then you have until November 15th to submit those scholarship applications. We will notify you with an email once we receive your application for admission, letting you know about those scholarships. So I encourage you to review that, see if you think you might be a strong applicant for those, and then go ahead and apply. It's a few short answer questions that you would simply submit for that. And that concludes my presentation today. So if there are any questions, feel free always to reach out to me. My email is there, lschutt@butler.edu, and you can feel free to give me a call as well. I'm always happy to help.
Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome.